I swear it's just shrinkage from the cold. Now you're wondering, why are you reviewing this older product from 2013? But let me catch you on that. You can still buy this version along with the newer one coming out, which the only difference is the laser has a higher CPI, has an RGB LED, and besides that, it's the same mouse. I got this guy for 30 bucks on clearance at the local Walmart, which it's pretty much all we can do. You know, it's either go online hunting around, which on Newegg I believe this guy still lists for 70, this version, which surprises me. I was like, okay. If you go on the Walmart website, which is a completely different entity from the brick and mortar store, it's still, I believe, $56 on there, and I'm like, well, I guess I got lucky. And honestly, I was not in the market for a compact mouse, and I thought to myself, yeah, 30 bucks. It's like most of the products I'm going to review on this channel is mostly stuff that I buy, unless a company or somebody else sends me a product to review, which I'll do that too. But as I say, like a few other channels, most of the stuff is out of my pocket, and I'm actually surprised with how good this little thing is. And as you can see, in comparison to a Razer Naga and a SteelSeries rival, it's very small, and I thought this is gonna hurt my hand when I'm gaming or editing, and I've been using it for a week now, and I can tell you, I'm pleasantly surprised. Run down the specs. 6400 CPI laser, 7 buttons, that is 2 on each side, the main left and right mouse buttons, and the scroll wheel clicks. And then you got the scroll wheel, which can be counted as 2 extra buttons, but who's counting here? The scroll wheel is only a green LED in this version, but honestly, for a compact mouse for 30 bucks, I'm surprised. I love clearances. The cable is detachable. Boom. Just like the Razer Naga wireless or any of the other Razer wireless products, and I think a few other companies that do wireless mice do the same thing. What I do like about this is it uses 2 standard AA batteries, and that's fantastic because, as you can see in this lovely B-roll that's going over this, my old Naga battery swole, and I did say in one of the videos previously that I could not get it out. Well, finagling and stressing out a bit of it popping or exploding in my face, I got it out of the Naga, which I should have recorded that, but it was a kind of a sweating panic moment, like, oh sweet Jesus, this thing is like swollen to hell, and it was very difficult to get out of there. Now, lithium-ion batteries are great and not so great. I personally prefer mice that just have standard AA because they're cheap, easily to replace, and, well, only thing you really have to worry about is leaking, and the leaking is easy to clean if you get it in time before it gets to your components. The wireless aspect of the mouse, instead of using radio frequency with the dongle like a crap load of other compact wireless mice use, which I detest, as they take up a USB port, they look hideous, they could get lost, or you could get swallowed. You know, eat them if you're hungry. I don't recommend it. What this tiny mouse uses is Bluetooth frequency, and I actually really like that they did that, and more mice should be using Bluetooth in this size factor instead of a radio frequency dongle, because I don't have that issue with my laptop as it's a large workstation laptop, but I could see that being a problem if somebody buys this mouse and has a smaller form factor gaming laptop, because why would you buy a gaming mouse if you're not going to be really gaming? But the mouse is extremely comfortable, and I've handled a ton of crappy to somewhat non-crappy compact mice, and they all suck in some aspect. Either they're too small, the buttons suck, or the whole thing just sucks and it feels like plastic. I was very pleased with Razer's choices in this tiny mouse. I do like that they didn't choose to use soft rubber, which is kind of a fad I've noticed. It does work to a point, but I don't like the grease factor of the standard soft rubber, as even if you have clean hands, the oil off your hands will just like, oh, look at that fingerprint. But on this guy, it's got this soft matte plastic, and it's fantastic. It works. And what I like is it just looks great all the time. Look at that. The only downfall with this being a Razer product is you have to use Synapse now, which, let's be honest, sucks. It's terrible. You can make it go offline and it kind of shuts up, but it still kind of wants to auto-update despite you being offline. I don't like my drivers being in the cloud. Razer, why did you do that? SteelSeries really doesn't do that, but you gotta have that universal thing. And I don't know about Corsair because, well, I've never owned a Corsair keyboard or mouse, and I hope to remedy that soon. Clicky. I put this mouse through its paces, ran a bunch of games, pretty much any FPS in my library, because I wanted to see how the laser worked through everything from the lowest CPI to the highest, and it's perfectly fine for gaming. You get a little bit used to it. I mean, you got a claw grip, you know, and get that hand back there. If you try to put your hand here, it's like a little bit awkward, but you kind of get away with that kind of position. But I've noticed just using free-floating position with my bottom of my hand sitting on the mouse pad, it's fine. What I really liked was editing. I didn't notice a difference between my rival or this. I mean, the biggest difference was there was more under my hand with the rival, of course, but I'm talking about just generic workflow, just editing video, going in After Effects, working in Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever else I was doing. And I thought to myself, hey, perfect. I found a $30 compact mouse to throw in my bag when I go travel, instead of carrying this thing or my Naga, which I've retired, but it's kind of still usable now that the battery's out. That's whole swollen situation's gone. What you get is, of course, the mouse, a little neoprene cover, which is super neat. I do like when the manufacturers include accessories like this. Take note, other people that produce mice. These are goodies that are nice to have. Besides the mouse, they do include a nice and short cable, which is fantastic, because I can tell you when I was traveling last year just with the rival, that long ass cable that's on here got in the way. I was like, it's off the table, and I almost pulled the whole laptop off, and I was like, ugh. You know, I've had to do the whole cord thing, put some Velcro, and got it done, but this is much better. But one thing I wish manufacturers kind of stopped doing is braided cables. I know they look nice and they don't snag as much, but the biggest problem I have with corded cables is they tend to like to coil or start to get in, you know, back into its natural state. Now, since it does use two AA's, Razer did include two AA's, which is fantastic. Can't go wrong there. How do I feel about this mouse as a compact mouse? I would actually recommend it. If you can find it for 30 bucks or 40, go for it. Now, for $70, if that is fine with your budget ratio and you're okay with spending that much on a mouse, which most of us gamers are, go for it. I have a few friends that have asked me, well, is it going to be worth it, or, well, tell me how it goes, because I'm curious about that mouse. Because a lot of people like Razer products, or they like compact mice, because, well, a lot of my friends are graphic designers, video editors, and photographers, and they're always on the go and always on the move, and a lot of them play video games, and I personally wouldn't game with a trackpad. It's kind of a torturous situation. It's like pulling teeth and nails at the same time. I don't recommend it. On that note, there's not much else to say about a mouse that's compact games and it's wireless, and it works perfectly fine despite the software. That's just one little niggling issue. It's just whatever. You get what you pay for. I got my bang for my buck out of it. I'm Max of makshacks. If you've liked this video, click that like button down there. You know, whatever I get my mitts on, I'll review, because I figure it'll be pretty interesting to talk about it, or, you know, if I find something for clearance, I'm like, hey, review. And I'll also subscribe down there so I get more motivated to make more videos and keep producing, keep making content and having fun and talking to you people of the internet. On that note, people of the internet, later.